Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Saturday morning to you all. Hope you guys are doing well out there, feeling well. Sorry, I'm coming at you a little bit later than I normally do in the mornings. I feel like I am, at least. It's around 8 o'clock, and I'm just starting this video, so it probably won't drop till about 8:30. But here to break down what could happen today weather-wise. We have the coastal low that's already impacting the Carolina coastline, and we have another threat of severe weather. Yesterday got pretty active. Multiple storm chasers, including Reed Timmer, which most people in the weather community or enjoy weather know who he is. Got a tornado in New Mexico, so it got quite active yesterday. Hopefully there was no significant damage, any loss of life. I haven't heard about either of the two, really, but here to break it down for you guys, try to figure it out. I'm sure you notice there's a difference behind me. You no longer see the bed that I sleep on every night. For any Clemson fans, not trying to offend anybody, I'm not one of those trash talking fans anyways. I'm a very passionate Gamecock fan. I know it's South Carolina Gamecock theme behind me. Really quick background story. Somebody here locally created, this is a flag behind me, and it's kind of a blend between both my passions. I love football, and I'm a big Gamecock fan, and I love the weather. And if you look at it, that's a lightning bolt right there going through Carolina, and it says the West family right here, and it actually has my @ right here, which is at scweather_WX, which is my Twitter handle. So it was really cool. I thought it was great besides just the white background, but I'm looking to find something a little bit more neutral, just something that says like Mitch West weather behind me. But I thought it was a cool little backdrop, but hopefully we don't scare any Clemson fans away or anything like that. But you won't ever hear any trash talking from me, guys. I'm very passionate at the games, though. Definitely not somebody you want to sit beside at a football game if you like just calm energy, which I don't know why you would go anyways if you like calmness. So, but anyways, outside of sports, I know you guys are not here to hear about sports, but here to break it down for you guys. If you folks have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. You guys got anything that I can pray about or pray over, as always, please put it in the comments below so I can do that. I can pray over them, and I promise you others will do so too. Let's take a look at water vapor loop this morning. You got this upper level low spinning right over the Mississippi Valley. So this is a factor in yanking in this coastal low that is just a non-tropical low right into here. Man, it was a beautiful sunset here in the Carolinas, at least in my neck of the woods. It's crazy. In the Carolinas, we always get these nice sunsets before these big time storms move in. Same thing happened with Ian. A beautiful sunset. If you follow me on Twitter, you saw a picture of it. It was pretty cool to see. But this will continue to charge inland. The actual center of low pressure will probably move in later this evening. But this will bring a risk of flooding, even some storms a little bit later this evening, as a very, I would say, a more unstable atmosphere tries to inch inland into the actual mainland, but it will not have a lot of ground to work with. We'll see how that works. Leftover energy from last night's storms continue to kind of rumble through Texas and Oklahoma. We'll see the initiation of more storms in kind of the same areas today. There's a slight risk up here. We look at the reflectivity and actually what's going on. Check out the spin down here. And we're going to have to stop it and start it again because it always glitches when I don't show it enough tension for long enough. But if you look right here, there's a little bit of a spin. That is the low pressure. All right. And, they say, here in the tropics world, hurricane season, if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, is it a duck? So this is kind of the same situation. If it looks like a subtropical storm, has impacts like a tropical storm, subtropical storm, is it? Well, it's still got cold core characteristics. It's very non-tropical. It's kind of attached to a frontal boundary, which means it pretty much means what it says. There's a lot of cold air dynamics with this. But we've seen little situations like this before suddenly become subtropical. And would not be surprised if, like in post-analyst, after the hurricane season's over, this becomes a named storm. But we'll see. As of now, right now, it has a 0% chance to become Arlene before making landfall. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this. But this is what's going on. Rain shield has moved into the Carolinas. Heavier rain just offshore. And we're watching these little cells as they inch closer to the Carolina coastline later. Waking up to some storm activity in and around just south of the Memphis area into northwest areas of Mississippi. Then we got two areas of storm that are just blasting through the same areas that continue to get storms. One's up here and another's down here in the Panhandle and kind of northwest sections of Texas, and then we're dealing with some rain up here too, I believe, from what I saw earlier. If it would pop up on the screen here. But there it is. Big old blob of rain, very slowly spinning away. Not really spinning, but just kind of there here in central Montana. And then some rain showers moving north in general around this axis of ridge of high pressure right over here, surging from the south to the north out through the Dakotas. But the Storm Prediction Center did not issue a marginal risk. Remember last night I was talking, if you watched the video, that I thought maybe they could issue a skinny corridor of a marginal risk of severe storms here near Myrtle Beach up to Wilmington. They have not done that, did not pull the trigger. But there's another update here in the next hour or so. We'll see if it does it. But as of now, they're just sticking for a general chance of storms. Marginal risk, level 1 out of 5 from the Mexico-U.S. border all the way to the U.S.-Canadian border. And right here, could have some high country supercells that get going a little bit later today, and we'll certainly give you some good information on that in this video. But stay safe, kind of the same area, same kind of deal, same setup, skinny corridor of low-level moist air working between basically a spin right here over the west, troughing, and then a ridge of high pressure right into here, and this is helping to kind of yank in some moisture into this area of the high country, pretty much all of the high country. Let's talk about the southeast. There is a flooding risk today. This has not changed. There is a moderate risk of flash flood guidance occurring within 25 miles at any given point. That is at least a 40% risk of that. And I'm not sure what the conditions are like right now. I know it's gusty, it's raining, but it can continue to go downhill in the next several hours. I might make my way to the coast here in the next hour and just check things out. There's really nothing else to do, to be honest. I could clean the house or something, but it's just kind of an inward day here in the Carolinas. There ain't nothing to do outside, and I hate being cooped up in the house, I'll tell you that. I don't mind it for a few hours if I'm doing something productive, but not very long. But a slight risk, 15% risk of flash flood guidance being met in the yellow area. This includes some bigger towns and cities: Asheville, Charlotte, Greenville, Florence, Columbia, to Augusta, Fayetteville, Greenville. I think it has dropped off of Raleigh. And I think the big deal with this is there's a lot more dry air. I wouldn't say a lot more, but there's a dry air is lingering into the Carolinas a lot more than I think maybe we were thinking was going to. So this is actually eating away at the northwest section of this shield of rain. But low pressure right here will continue to kind of spin away. The closer the low pressure gets to the coast, the more moist air it brings, the more that this just solid rain switches to some squally, kind of stormy kind of weather down here along the Carolina coastline, especially from Charleston all the way up to, Cape Fear, especially even north of that. We got to watch out for these little squalls that kind of make their way as this low pressure continues to inch its way. This is getting into 6, 7 o'clock this afternoon, and we're continuing to spin away out here. Well, watch out for these cells, though. Watch out for these cells overnight. Not expecting severe weather, but you can't rule it out, guys. You can't. With this low pressure just slowly taking its time moving in. The HRRR model really wants this to completely lose its rain shield. I don't know if it's because it gets ate up by dry air. Kind of looks like that. But you can have some storm development in Mississippi today, areas of Arkansas. A little bit closer look at how this can unfold today. Like I said, watch, as we get into this afternoon, watch these areas of storms. We'll look at the latest HRRR model and actually see what it shows. But, as this low pressure right in here gets a little bit closer, watch out these little feeder bands that are kind of blasting their way through the Myrtle Beach up to Wilmington, points north region up to, even Jacksonville. Definitely need to watch for some storms in this region. Could they produce a quick tornado? It's certainly possible. I don't expect hail with this or anything like that, but definitely gusty winds. Definitely, that's a definite. But there is I would say there's a very low risk of a tornado. And I'm not gonna, just because the Storm Prediction Center says that, hey, there's basically no risk. They're not saying that, but I would say watch out later this afternoon, this evening, especially for the North Carolina coastline, for some feeder bands that make their way through. But rainfall, these are temperatures. One thing I want to note is as this rain moves in, watch how the temperatures actually drop. Like, for instance, you might make it all the way into the 70 degrees around good old Clemson, South Carolina, Coney County. You might make it all the way into the low 70s, and then the rain shield moves in and actually drops your temperatures throughout the afternoon. So that's why, you're waking up to warmer temperatures like in Newberry, Greenville, Spartanburg, Charlotte, and so forth. But as this rain moves in, your temperatures will drop. This will cause your temperatures to drop dramatically. But, you look back in Atlanta, you're at 80 degrees basically. But you can move over to Columbia, you're in the 50s. Same time frame, about 3 o'clock. Wild stuff, huh? Rain, cold air is the reason for this. But this will eventually make its way even into, some rain will make its way all the way into North Georgia and cool your temperatures down. Rainfall between now and the next 24 hours, this has actually dropped a little bit. And I think the corporate is because you got this a lot of dry air in place, but I got a bullseye of around 2 inches showing up in Columbia. Now only going for just over an inch in Charlotte, and it's really cut off up here in northern North Carolina and southern Virginia. The rainfall, it's going to rain up here Sunday, but it's really cut it off up here. Raleigh not expecting as much rain now, but we'll see. This is not, the grand conclusion. We still got to figure out exactly what's going to happen after it's happened, but going for 4 to 5 inches of rain now. But you got to remember, some of this has already fell. Some of these areas has probably already picked up over an inch of rain. So grand total will still potentially be over 6 inches by the time it's all done. But that's the last update, even though I said last night was on the coastal low. It's going to make landfall later tonight. We get into during the day, 20 seconds of fame for the Northeast again. Not a whole lot's going on up in the Northeast. Enjoy your day. It'll actually be a beautiful day up here. Beautiful weather. There was a point about 4, 5, 6 days ago where this low pressure that's hitting the Carolinas was going to threaten you guys up here, but of course things changed. But you could be waking up to some shower activity in Kentucky, West Virginia for your Sunday morning. But today, not a big deal. Storms here in the south central U.S. Leftover energy, HRRR model doing an absolutely horrible job of initializing with these storms. It's not even picking up on this area of storms right into here. So it is on the one up here, but not down here. So, this is all we can do is look at guidance. And what we do know is some big storms will get going again in eastern areas of New Mexico. This could happen in southwest. Basically, this entire area could get some big storms. Been some very photogenic storms. Eastern New Mexico has really lit it up in the storm chaser community. It's been a hot spot for a lot of storm chasers, and with this flatter terrain for the most part out there, besides some occasional mountains and hills, it's you guys have, it's been some pretty big storms out there. Luckily, the population is a little bit lower in this region of the country, but watch out for some big hailers out here. Big storms. There's a tornado threat, so it's very, very, very low, but you can't rule it out. Weak flow aloft, and then as you get into this evening, all this storm activity will make its way into western Texas, and then drift into just all of western Texas. And you could be dealing with some intense storms later this evening. If you're in Lubbock down to Midland, these storms could very well be up here near Amarillo. And watch out for some storms also in eastern Colorado. These could be more intense than what it's showing right here. So be aware. And like I said, you're probably going to get some storm activity in far eastern and southeastern Arkansas and Mississippi today, especially central to northern Mississippi. But please be aware of these storms. Same thing as the last 100 mornings. You're going to have the leftover energy moving through Texas as you're waking up for your Sunday morning. Up here in the north central U.S., not a lot to speak on. You're being influenced by this high pressure. But some storms, it literally seems like the same thing I've said for this region of the country countless times, but some storms will enter the picture into the western Dakotas as you get later into the evening hours, and then they'll fall apart. But you move to the northern plains, kind of the same areas you had to watch out for yesterday. Some big-time storm development right here in the eastern Wyoming, eastern and central Montana region. So please be careful if you live in this area of the country. You could get some damaging winds. A brief tornado is possible. This looks more linear, meaning it looks more of just a congealed line of storms that will move through the entire area. They will really grow up scale as you get later into the day. And then as you get later into the evening, the sun begins to set. They'll kind of become more widespread. It will begin to also fall apart. So be careful if you're in this region of the country today. Definitely pretty much everybody has an equal chance to see some intense storms. The rest of the West, same kind of deal. A little low pressure, a little spin out here continues to every afternoon just kind of rejuice the atmosphere. And if you live in kind of the same areas we've been mentioning, the eastern half of Washington now, the eastern half of Oregon, northern areas of Nevada, even areas in northern California, all of Idaho, all of Montana, all of Wyoming, northern Utah. You guys could just get scattered showers and storms throughout the day, just not expecting any kind of big time severe weather threat for anybody in this region. But you can't rule out an isolated severe storm or two. Temperatures, listen, most of the country is beautiful today. Beautiful. 70s in the Northeast. It'll be much warmer, deeper, further north in Canada than it will in the Carolinas. Much warmer. I'm talking about, in some cases, 25, 30 degrees warmer. Pretty warm down here in Texas, Louisiana. Some areas will get into the low 90s. For most of the country, it'll be a beautiful Memorial Day weekend. But the Carolinas is just getting plagued by this Carolina low. And, these are going to be temperatures today in the Carolinas. Absolutely brutal, 50s, 60s. Yeah, just not fun. Not fun at all. You look out west, temperatures a little below average out here for sure. But in general, got to find where you're at. Remember, there's many microclimates due to elevation out here. Higher elevations, cooler. Lower elevations, if you're definitely much lower, you could certainly get into the 70s and 80s. Check out here in these kind of flatter regions of Washington State. 70s and 80s is possible today. So that's all I got, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. God bless all y'all. If you're my folks here in the Carolinas, you're viewing, make the most out the day. Or just chill back and watch some movies, play some board games. Anyways, you're not going to avoid the nasty weather out there today. So God bless all y'all. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you again soon.